Hello, everybody, and welcome to Modern on a Friday.
Hi.
Hi, absolutely. So, on the left, we have James on a removal heavy list, which is Adzan, and on the right, we have Brandon on a deck that doesn't want his creatures to be removed.
Infect.
Absolutely. So, this is going to be sort of, I would say leans more in the favor of James, being so removal heavy, right?
Yeah, because it attacks Brandon's hand. All James has to do is pull out the one or two creatures that Brandon may have kept in his hand, and then James is just good to go from there. Brandon probably shouldn't keep this hand. Okay, good. Yeah, because we saw last time whenever Brandon was here during the weekend, he actually ended up keeping some hands that didn't have any creatures in them in hopes to draw one. So I'm hoping he learned from like that last weekend, and this time like he'll actually...
Yeah, I would... in my experience, having played Infect for a short while, it's kind of... I would rather see a hand that has no pump spells and a lot of creatures
Yes.
than the inverse, right?
Yes.
Because, I mean, at a certain point, like, if you have just a bunch of pump spells, you're not doing anything, right?
Well, yeah, and I think James is fine here. He does have Fatal Push in hand. He has two Goyfs. I think he's going to be okay. Because even if Brandon does play the one creature, James can... Oh.
Looks like I'm seeing... Is that Become Immense, Might?
Yes. And then
a handful of lands?
Yes.
All right. Brandon's probably tempted to keep this, especially going down to 5 is... Not really where... It's really not where he wants to be.
No. I mean, he's going to keep. And he's going to put on bottom. Yeah.
Right, so
I'm pretty sure he saw either another land or another pump spell. I think if it was a Nexus, he could have kept that on top, and that would have been his one creature.
Absolutely. And I think James is sort of... hopefully he's reading the signal that Brandon's looking for a creature. Usually when Infect scries to the bottom, it's a creature that they're looking for.
All right, so James is going to go to 17 on the end of Brandon's turn?
No, probably just fetching and then tapped land.
Well, he put his life counter down to 17.
Interesting.
That's why I'm... I don't remember he doesn't...
Is he playing the Death Shadow version?
He is. Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Interesting.
Okay.
So he switched back to the Death Shadow.
So I think if he's doing this with his life total, like where he's just kind of going down to 17, at end step and not playing anything, he might be playing.
Hopefully Brandon reads that as a signal.
All right, so he's going to go to 15. Yeah, I think he is playing the Death Shadow variant.
All right, so we have a Grim Flayer coming down here for James. Not quite anywhere near Delirium right now with the one land in graveyard.
No, and then he only has two creatures, and he doesn't have anything that he can discard out. The timer. Oh. Alright, so we see Brandon here. He finally got his Glistener Elf, so...
Alright, James is going to swing in, and yeah, Brandon's just going to take here.
Okay, so I think he puts those Marsh Flats, because I'm pretty sure he still has more land in hand. I would put the Marsh Flats in graveyard and leave the Death Shadow on top.
Yeah, and James isn't really under any pressure here to leave a creature back, right? Because we know he has the Fatal Push.
Yeah. But I think he's going to keep the land. Maybe... I know he has two Goyfs in hand. He left Death Shadow and then Marsh Flats. So he has two Goyfs. Oh, an Inquisition, a Fatal Push, and another Abrupt Decay. And
I like playing the Inquisition and leaving back the Fatal Push.
I think he's going to play the Goyf.
Really?
No, he's going to... Oh, he's going to Abrupt Decay.
Okay, so just getting it off the board here.
Well, and it can't be countered, so that's good, because we also know that Brandon plays Spell Pierce.
Yeah, and there's no green open for Vines, so yeah, it's a pretty safe play there from James. Usually players are a little bit tempted to get the pump spells out of their opponent's hands, right?
Yeah. And it's really like... Oh, there we go. Okay.
So he has two creatures that he played this turn.
So he top decked two creatures, so this is good.
Yeah.
He did leave one green open. We do know he has a Vines of Vastwood and I believe a Become Immense or Might of Volcarosa. So he has Become Immense and... No, yeah, Become Immense or Blossoming Defense and then Might of Volcarosa in hand. So, Inquisition.
Alright, let's see what James finds here.
Yep, Vines of Vastwood, Become Immense.
Mutagenic.
Is that mutagenic?
That's
I
mutagenic.
See it. Okay.
Yeah, Might of Vol... Yeah. And then Distortion Strike would be the third card in his hand there. Alright, James swinging in. This is still just 2. He has instant sorcery and land and graveyard.
Yes.
Alright,
So-
Brandon's gonna take, and we'll see if James can make this a delirious Grimflayer.
If he puts a Goyf in there, he already has 2 Goyfs in hand.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's going to put the Goyf there. He left the Death Shadow and a Windswept Heath on top. I don't know how I feel about him, though, keeping so much land on top. Just because, like, you have 3... I don't know. I don't know how I feel
He does
about
have that
here.
fetch land on board, right? So he
Yeah.
can always just shuffle.
But would you want to shuffle away your Death Shadow? I don't think I would.
Alright, so Brandon's gonna untap here. And see if Brandon can find any action. This Infect counter is still sitting at a lonely 0.
Yeah, he needs to find something that can protect the Blighted Agent from Fatal Push whenever he does decide to swing in.
Yeah, and
That's
this
what
would
he
be
has to do.
Blossoming Defense, Vines.
Yes.
There's a couple options.
Okay,
I think going wide is pretty correct here.
yes. And James knows that he has the Stubborn Nile, and he also has the
Distortion. It's
Distortion Strike?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so Mutagenic going onto the Blighted Agent, and that's going to eat a Fatal Push.
Spell Pierce. Yes. The card we were
Ooh.
just talking about.
So this is, James is looking at 4.
4? So, Mutagenic Growth is
1, 2, 3, 4.
4? Okay.
Yeah, because Mutagenic is +2/+2.
Okay.
And Brandon did not take 2 damage for the Mutagenic.
I don't think I would. Alright. Oh, okay. So, I think James did go ahead and shuffle away the Death Shadow to go in and get Godless Shrine. So, James, I believe, is going to go down to 12.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And James,
That's-
James, I like this matchup for him because he can be pretty free with his life total.
Well, and he also has Traverse. So even if he shuffled away the Death Shadow, that's fine.
He can just go
because
grab
he
it with
can just-
Traverse.
Yes.
Which is kind of the perks of playing a Delirium-based package
Yeah.
in Adzan nowadays.
Well, and I feel like also with the Death Shadow Adzan, it's such a good matchup because you don't really have to ever worry about your life total going down even more than what you're putting it at. All you have to worry about is Infect counters.
Absolutely.
So he's going to go to 10. Is he... I think in his position he would play a Goyf. I wouldn't play double Goyf here.
So he's going to traverse
Traverse.
first. And it's pretty safe to look for a Death Shadow here. Brandon's not playing a very removal-heavy deck.
No.
He may have 1 or 2 dismembers floating around, but
I
James
don't
is sitting
think he
on pretty
does.
good odds.
Brandon doesn't have dismembers in his
Wow.
Infect deck. No. Not that, because I've seen him play for the past couple of weekends, and he hasn't had any in there yet. So, I don't think he put them in.
Okay.
So I think his only is pretty much counters at this point. I think he's going to go Death Shadow Goyf, probably.
Alright, so he's going to attack, kind of see what his options are on the top of his deck, and that's going to draw Brandon down to 12.
Let's see. So Death Shadow. And Goyf. Yep.
Alright, so he's setting up a pretty good basis, but he is tapped out with no removal.
Yes.
So this Inkmoth has some pretty free attacks if Brandon can find some action.
Yes. Well, and also, what do we see? I wish, like, there was a way, I'm telling you, that I could
Right?
just, like,
A
scope
camera
in.
view on each
Yeah.
side of their hands. Yeah, some of these players play pretty close to the chest. Which is fine. Makes it a little more exciting,
Yeah.
right?
I'm not gonna lie here, I wish James had kept up, like, 1 black so that he could just fake that he possibly has something.
Right,
in
and
hands.
I mean, that's the type of player that I am. I am the type of player, if I were in Brandon's situation, it's kind of like make him have it. But,
Yeah.
like, James just tapped out, so he has signaled to Brandon, I don't have it,
Yeah.
right?
Because I know Ryan does that a lot, where he'll...
And it's fine
He'll
going
fake
off
it.
a turn, because James has the more established board state,
Yes.
right? But does he even have any cards in hand?
He does, he has 1 Goyf left in
Okay.
hand.
So he could have faked it.
Yeah.
Alright, Brandon's just getting in with the Inkmoth here. Alright, and it looks like it's a lonely 1 damage.
So that's also, I feel like, signaling to James, I don't have a lot of pump spells.
He did leave 1 blue open as well, but Abrupt Decay is going to eat that Blighted Agent.
Yeah.
So this Goyf, I believe, is 5?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I believe James
Squish should be a...
1, 2,
It might just be 4.
3, 4. Yeah, so
It's just 4, so it's a 4,
8,
5.
11. So right now he's only hitting Brandon for 11. I think, yeah, he's going to hold back Death Shadow. Which I honestly don't see the point here. There you go. Because Blink Moth, it has flying. None of your creatures can touch it, so...
Absolutely.
And I believe James said that he was going to take off the baubles, so he also doesn't have the artifact to put into his graveyard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brandon got dropped down to...
1.
Wow, the loneliest life. Alright, let's see if Brandon has any action for this turn. Looks like a Vines.
So it's a Vines. But...
That's enough.
Yeah.
That would be game. But he can't kick it.
Nope. And then if he drew into another mutagen growth or anything, he doesn't have life to pay for it at all.
Right.
So, yep, use the blue, animate. I think he's just going to attempt. He does have a Become Immense. Is it?
No, he still has the Distortion Strike.
It's still just a Distortion Strike? Okay, so he's just going to hit in for 1.
Yeah, and James is going to untap here, and this is going to be pretty easily
this
James's game.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully James moves to combat. Being a little fancy.
Oh, James, don't be fancy.
Alright.
We're like, okay, we're just gonna...
Yeah, we'll go along with it. He wants us to, so we'll go along with it.
Did he go in for another Death Shadow?
I can't imagine it's the 4th Goyf.
Nope, Goyf.
A Street Wraith, was it?
Street Wraith?
It looked like it had the future sight border, but yep, Street Wraith. So he's cycling down just to ensure that he has maximum amount of damage here. Let me see your hand. Oh, so Viridian Corruptor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he didn't have double green for that. Corruptor, Vines, Distortion Strike. James is going to take the Corruptor, but it's pretty easily here James's game.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, there you go, James. There you go.
All right.
Oh.
All right.
She was like, wait, this is only game 1. Why shake?
There's a lot of players that do shake in between
After
each
game 1, yeah. I've noticed that, and I never know how to react to it, because I'm just like, wait, but it's only game 1.
Got both players reset to 20 here. And moving into the sideboard, I know that Brandon has a bit more mitigation that he can work in his favor. But I also know that he has sort of this kind of wonky invisible stalker package.
No. Yes.
He goes on.
Yes.
Yeah, if he's playing against a removal heavy list, or if he's playing against Grixis Death Shadow, any Death Shadow variant, he sides into this invisible stalker plan where he just kind of loads all the pump spells onto that.
I am excited for this.
Absolutely, and it looks like that's what he's sideboarding into.
Yeah, I think James is actually just going to bring in either the Collective Brutalities or the Fulminator Mages. Fulminator Mage, obviously, to get rid of the Blink Moth. I can't think to save my life. Which I think is fine. Oh, he's going to bring in the Collective Brutalities and Flame Tendrils.
Collective Brutality is a good catch-all.
Just got his foil Flame Tendrils in today. So
Are they promo or just back foil?
Promo.
Okay.
They're the promo. Let me see. I want to get Twitch opened up on my phone. So we don't have a double screen anymore, so I can't see anything on Twitch.
Yeah. We're working on getting a second monitor back in here.
Yes. So we're going to attempt this. What should my username be? He's no help on this, guys. He's no help. I'm gonna be James. James, Allie, Dom. Okay, that one's not taken. If I put all 3 of them, it's not taken. Why is there so much needed to make a Twitch? Someone explain this to me.
We'll take it up with the Twitch people.
Twitch, stop making it so complicated. Why do you need my birthday? I promise I'm above the age of 18.
Man, I have such a... Every time I'm watching a match, I realize that I have such a different way of sideboarding than other people.
Yes.
Like, I've never been a piler. I've never had the piles out, and everything needs to be organized. I usually shuffle in 15, take 15 out.
That's what a lot of people that I've talked to, they say they'll just shuffle in all 15, and then if they don't, like, just to kind of fake it,
Yeah.
that they are.
Well, I mean, there's no reason to let your opponent know how many cards you're siding.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like, for me, I don't really mind. I'll do my little tiny piles, but there have been times where I have shuffled my entire sideboard into my deck on accident, and then I just played with it, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, hold on, this isn't right. Yes, that happens. It's a natural thing sometimes. Kind of. Not really. Oh my gosh.
As we can also see, we are looking into getting some more Ettin Games and Hobbies playmats.
Yeah, somehow one of them disappeared, but we're not sure where it went. So whoever has it, we would really enjoy if you would bring it back. Even though I'm not gonna lie, Grizzle brand.
Yeah.
It's Grizzy brand though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure James is super excited to be on that side.
Yes. So, oh, here we go. Ha. Wait, no, I don't want to browse.
Oh, advertisements.
Ettin. Why you got advertisements?
It's not a choice.
Oh, what's live right now?
But if
Is there
anyone
any
would
way-
like, they can always subscribe to us and see the content ad-free.
That is true, and on YouTube as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, there we go. I had to turn the volume down so I didn't have to listen to these terrible. What?
Nope.
Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. I didn't lie.
She
There we
lied
go.
to each and every one of you.
A little bit. Maybe I did. Sorry. Oh, God.
It's so far favored in James's favor that it's...
Well, he just has so much removal. Like, not
Yeah.
only hand attack, but he has Abrupt Decays, which Spell Pierce can't do anything about. I mean, Fatal Pushes.
We've, as many people that have seen Brandon on camera, they know he loves all-in strategies.
Yes.
Like Pummeler and Standard and
Yes.
Infect and Modern. He loves one-shotting people. And the problem with Infect and Modern is not only the missing G-Probe, which, I mean, like, Peak exists, right?
Yeah.
Could always play Peak. It's just strictly a worse version.
It's just not the same at all.
No, and not only that, but at the same time, Fatal Push was printed, right? And
Yes.
it's just such a clean answer to a lot of what Brandon's doing.
Well, they were also talking about how that's the reason why, like, Naya Burn isn't a thing anymore, because Fatal Push is
Oh, the
in meta
Nikotl,
now.
like, does nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't really, like, it's not viable
I see the
anymore.
correct mana and a Street Wraith in James's hand. There's
Yes.
no world where he doesn't keep those.
Like, I feel like he also has just better draws.
Alright, I see a
Except
Hierarch
I see a
for
Noble
Brandon.
Hierarch.
Hopefully Brandon can get off to a fast start here.
I really hope so. Oh, man.
There would be nothing more exciting than
I think he's gonna keep it.
not having to adjust this Infect counter and just, like, go from 0 to 10.
I love that moment. So Brandon's gonna go to 18. I think he's gonna play the Hierarch.
Oh, yeah. You
Yes.
just jammed the Hierarch here.
Unless he... Yeah, okay. There you go.
I mean, even if you have Glistener Elf, it's just Hierarch.
Wait,
the
is that
better.
Torment Script?
That is a Tormod script. That's for sure a Tormod script.
What?
Which is... It's decent because it takes James off what he's doing, but it also sucks because you're putting an artifact in your graveyard, right?
Well... Oh, yeah, I guess James does have the Abrupt Decay, but I mean, like... What? Yes?
Oh, don't get me wrong, it's no relic. Like, it's no relic. I do like the fact that it's free.
Oh, yeah, no. That's all good and well. That was
Yeah.
like a...
For anyone else that's unfamiliar, Tormod script is 0 mana, and you can sacrifice it to exile target player's graveyard.
Yes. Alright, so we have an Inquisition. Good. We get to see Brandon's hand.
Absolutely.
I mean, not good on you, Brandon, but we do get to see his hand. So, Spell Pierce Nexus, which he can't take.
Yeah, there's something really important happening in this turn where James did not bolt the bird, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that's the most important turn of events, because letting your opponent untap with any extra mana typically is not the right call, but James just didn't have
Yeah.
it. He could have cycled the Street Wraith and tried to find it, but
That's what because normally what I'll see is like, so James going second. Normally what you'll see is at the end of like their first turn, you immediately cycle Street Wraith. You draw 2 cards.
Right. And I like taking the Spell Pierce here because when James does find the removal, he'll be able to deal with whatever Brandon has.
Yeah.
Cleanly.
So, Brandon's gonna see.
Oh, absolutely. Send a message.
All right. So James is gonna fall to 14. He's gonna cycle Street Wraith at the end of Brandon's turn. And he drew into another Street Wraith, and I believe he drew into a Traverse. So he's gonna go ahead and go down to 12. Murderous Cut. He drew Murderous Cut.
There's an interesting thing though, where your opponent puts Traverse on the stack, and you just exile their graveyard. Like that's a possibility that Brandon has open to him.
A 1/1 Death Shadow.
I'm a fan.
Really?
Oh yeah. I feel like both players are just sending messages.
What's really, I guess, upsetting here is, like, I wish I could see more green from Brandon. Yes, he has the Hierarch, but I feel like every time, like, I see him play, he has 1 green mana the entire time. And
and he said that that's a product of him not having the Fetches and Shocks. Mm-hmm. Like, he would love to play more copies of Become Immense, but he just can't reliably do it.
Okay.
He's going to activate the Inkmoth Nexus here and serve in for probably 3 unless James has an answer. Ooh, so a lot more than 3.
Okay.
Thought we had the Distortion Strike coming out. So that's 4 or 5, and if he swings, that's 6.
And James has no answer, so James is going to go to 6 Infects. Oh. Or is he going to Oh! Wait.
That's going to be 8 Infect. So a clean Blossoming Defense coming.
Ooh.
Wow. And that's the exchange.
Well, yeah.
That's the kind of exchange where, like, it's really important to have something like Abrupt Decay or have gotten rid of the Noble Hierarch earlier, right?
And the thing about this is James going to fall to 10 with another Street Wraith. I'm pretty sure he's drawn almost every single Street Wraith. The thing about this is he did have to delve to be able to play this Murderous Cut. He's going to go to 8.
Wow.
Yep, the only card left.
Distortion Strike.
Distortion Strike. Oh, James put Tasker in.
Oh, okay.
James has got a mixture of stuff, and that's the thing is, like, because he had to delve for this Murderous Cut, he can't play the Tasker. And also, I think he has 1 Goyf in hand.
Alright, he's serving in for 5 here with the Death Shadow.
Yeah. The Goyf kind of...
James's hand telegraphed perfect mana, but he is behind on mana.
Well, I think he has 2 Lilianas in his hand.
Brandon's saying that he's at 15. Don't believe that's correct because he shocked the breeding pool.
Let's see, shock breeding pool, you go to 18.
And then he just took 5 off of the Death Shadow.
So he's at 13.
Right.
I'll be back.
We're just gonna...
The little messenger.
Yeah, just let him know that he shocked and he just took 5. Alright, so Brittany got that corrected. It's always important, especially when you're a spectator in these kinds of deals, that you're able to correct the players on their gameplay. Yeah, James is for sure at 8. Okay, so both players just making sure that they have the life totals correct. Alright, we got both people squared away, right?
Yes. And James is apparently at 7, in fact?
Don't believe that's correct because the Noble Hierarch trigger, but if both players agree on it, we'll roll with it.
So the Noble Hierarch, is it a must trigger, as in, like, or is it if Brandon remembers it, then it's a trigger?
Well, I'll have to look up the wording of Noble Hierarch.
Okay.
I mean, I believe the Exalted trigger just happens. Or, well, no, you do have to announce the trigger.
Okay.
Because it is a triggered ability. Alright.
Okay.
Yeah, we have James scooping it up. So we saw the explosiveness of just the fact of having a Noble Hierarch out. Brandon was able to do multiple things in a turn, which is really where Infect wants to be.
And, like, that 1 extra Exalted trigger, like, the 1 extra poison counter does go a long way in this.
Oh, absolutely. And we're seeing strategies come up in Modern, like Death Shadow, where it's 1 point of life matters. Mm-hmm. And so the same thing applies to any sort of damage or,
yeah,
loyalty on Planeswalkers. I've seen I've seen putting a planeswalker, like, say you're at 5 and I have 3 Lingering Souls tokens, or you're at 4 and I have 3 Lingering Souls tokens. If I attack you with 2 and one of your planeswalkers with 1, you're still on the same clock, right?
Yes.
Because I can just attack you with the 2 Lingering Souls anyways. So you're still on the same clock, and the reason to do that is you put the planeswalker at an uneven interval most of the time.
Yeah.
And you'll start to see, like, Lilianas that aren't able to effectively -2, or it's the situation where, like, the 1 point always matters in Modern.
Oh. So James only has 1 land. Yeah. He's gonna mull. Okay. And we only... Are there any land? I think all I saw was a Blink Moth in Brandon's hand.
I can't say I wouldn't be tempted.
I mean, he does have, I believe, a Vines of Vastwood, a Blink Moth. Would you be tempted?
Wow, James is
James
shipping
gonna
me
go to
back again.
5.
He had every tool he needed in that hand. Yeah, he had everything he needed in that hand and just could not find the land.
This is what hurts the most, is seeing, like, really, really good decks and they have to fall down to such a low, like, mulligan. Like, that's the thing that hurts.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh. Alright. And he's gonna go to 4? Okay, James is...
I can't say that I would go to 4 there with the Traverse in hand. I would rather risk trying to find the land.
Because you can traverse for another land.
Because you can just go traverse for a basic, right?
Yes. So he's gonna go to 4. I hope this is, like, the perfect
2
4.
Fatal Pushes and 2 lands.
Yes, that's all you need. That's all you need. Oh.
I'll take anything.
No way.
Oh, man, deal. That's exactly what I had just said.
Oh my god. Stop. Stop.
If you're going to get 4, this is the 4 you get, right?
What?
Let's see what we have from Brandon here. So we just have a Burning Catacombs from James.
So I think he... Okay, so he did. And then he has Noble Hierarch, I believe. Yep. Okay.
Wow. This may not be a
in
start
favor
for James. Well,
I mean, James does have Fatal
ship
Push.
the turn back. James indeed has Fatal Push, and he made the decision to not Fatal Push the Hierarch.
I think it's because he's waiting. He would probably rather Fatal Push this. Some bad luck. Beldar. Wow, some bad luck it seems. Yes, it's on James's part, it's a little bit of a bad luck.
Oh, and Magic has always been a
Yes.
game of luck.
Yes.
You see the best players that just fall to mulligans. And then you see things like the good old Pro Tour we just recently had, where the best player, Paulo Vitor, mulligan to like 4 and just won 2 games off of that, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Steve, one of our local players. Every single game he's ever in, he just mulligan to like 6 or 5, and somehow seems to be doing okay. So I think he's trying to get his life total down in hopes that he draws into a Death Shadow, which would be very good at this point.
That is a bauble at the bottom of James's life.
Okay,
right?
so he does still have the bauble in there.
Right.
I know he was talking about earlier today he wanted to take them out, but I can't remember what he said he was going to replace them with. Because I actually bought his Noble Hierarchs. So those aren't going in there anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, oh, he has Goyf. Okay, so he has Fatal Push, Goyf, land in hand. Oh,
Cycle
and
the Street Wraith.
Yes.
Right.
Draw into Death Shadow?
Right. So this is going to be a pretty decent turn for James here.
And
He gets to play the Shadow.
Yes, and Goyf.
No.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, you leave up the Fatal Push. This is... a small part of me, and I love you, James, because I know you're going to go back and watch this. I hope he gets tinned. I hope he gets tinned, because this is the same thing that happened to Brendan at our PPTQ. Brendan did not respect the kill. Brendan did not respect the next turn kill. So it's... That is the only reason, James. That's the only reason I would ever wish that upon you.
Oh, my apologies. Beld Air, actually. It's good to watch this again. Had been working Friday since my first Friday off in a while. Congratulations. Proud of you. At least you're hardworking. This is my hobby.
Invisible Stalker.
That's what you were talking about. I'm so excited to see
So
this.
Brandon hedges against these Death Shadow strategies by putting in a hexproof unblockable creature that he can spend all of his pump spells on. Right? Like, James has already done most of the work, so now James is in Infect
That's
range
true.
with his normal life.
Oh,
It's
man.
really interesting turn that
Well, and-
Brandon takes.
Oh my god.
I don't like the
remember.
way that Brandon tapped his mana, but that's about it.
Yeah, because there's not a point unless he plans on.
Unless he just wants to
activating-
lose this Ink Moth. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Unless he plans on activating it. Okay, so he's gonna abrupt decay the Noble Hierarch.
Oh, please don't activate in response.
He's gonna activate in response.
If he does that, then yeah, he's just gonna lose 2 creatures here.
Don't do it.
Oh man.
Don't do it.
I think he has Blossoming Defense, and he's trying to gauge if he really wants this Hierarch, and he does.
I don't know if that was the correct play.
Well, James can Fatal Push in response to that.
Yes. But I don't know if he wants to waste the Fatal Push on it. No, he doesn't.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And another important thing that James did there was got Brandon to tap the Noble Hierarch. So either way, the Noble Hierarch was not going to be a blocker.
Yes. So right now he has instant creature, land. So this Goyf is a 3/4. The Death Shadow is a 4/4. So Brandon went
Yeah.
ahead and went
Brandon's
down to
going to go
11.
down to 11.
I feel like even though we can't see his hand, he has so much fuel in his hand that he just doesn't mind. He's like,
Oh,
okay.
I'm so excited for him to just dump a bunch of mutagenics onto this Invisible Stalker.
Oh, I know.
But I also played in the Invisible Stalker era of Standard,
Yes.
so it's just like
You know what
when
can happen
Boggles
with
was
this.
Standard, yeah.
You know. I remember this card. I hated this card more than anything.
Oh, there's nothing better than the fact that like Rancor and Unflinching Courage were Standard at the time. So you could just like make this lifelink trample and
Yes.
more trample with
And you
Rancor.
just shoved everything onto it, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah. Thanks, Reed Duke.
I miss those days. I miss those days.
Alright, so Brandon's going to serve him with this Invisible Stalker.
Maybe?
Okay, so when he moves to combat, James is going to Fatal Push the Hierarch so that Brandon doesn't get the trigger. This changes things. So Brandon can tap the Hierarch for mana.
Yeah, because he's still in combat, so he gets to keep the mana.
The problem is that if Brandon does not exactly lethal James here, James actually has a lethal swing on the way back with the Death Shadow.
Can he move his life total down, though, even more? Because Death Shadow right now is only a 4/4, so right now he'd swing back with 7.
Exactly, but if Brandon does any sort of damage that's non-lethal,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he's just helping James do the work. And we see this with a lot of times against Grixis. I know I've talked to Dom a couple times, and he's like, the problem is that people, like, Grixis can just let you do the work, you know?
Yeah.
They're not forced to deal damage to themselves.
No, he's correct on this. So I don't believe Brandon.
He may
Floated?
have needed that Exalted trigger as well. He may not even have enough in hand, and this is another thing with him not having enough green sources.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, like, here I'm fine with it. He does have double green, but I don't see him.
Yeah, so this is a pass turn from him.
Okay, so now this Goyf is... What do we see on top? I think that's a Become Immense on top. Or the Strike.
Alright, so James is going to serve in here with the same 4 points of damage. Or 4, 5,
It's-
6.
It's 8.
8?
Yes, so he's at 9, so it's a 4/4. His Goyf is a 4/5 right now.
Oh, okay, because of the bobble and...
The Bobble, Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay, the Street Wraith, and Land. So he has Artifact, Instant, Creature, Land.
Okay.
So the Goyf is a 4/5 right now. And I think they're double checking.
Alright, so this would be 8 that James is coming in for.
So I don't know if here Brandon... I think what he was doing is he was holding it up so that he could block with the Invisible Stalker and be able to pump it up enough to where it kills one of James' creatures, but his stays alive. Ixalan does have some good cards, but I just miss, like, the old Dark Ascension Innistrad. It was so good. Like, to me, it was just so much fun.
Oh, it was for sure Become Immense,
Yeah.
by the way.
Okay, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, Ixalan is actually an amazing set now that I've
Yes.
put my hands on it. It has a lot of really cool mechanics.
And I haven't seen a set this expensive in so long.
Well, it's because the value is found in the cards rather than these lottery tickets
Yeah.
that they're shoving into packs, right? All right, let's see
All
what
right.
Brandon has here. Hopefully we can get a lethal out of Brandon. No offense, James, but this weird wonky invisible stalker plan I really
wanna
want to
see.
work, right? It's a cool concept, right? Because let Death Shadow put themselves at infect range, but then you play a creature, right?
Okay, so he's gonna cast it. So he's gonna Vines of Basswood.
So that's 9, exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it'd be 4, 4, and 1 more, yeah.
Oh, James double checking.
You have to pay a green for the kicker?
Oh, yeah, you do. When your player actually pulled 2 transforming artifacts.
That was I like that they slotted like rares as these transforming artifacts. Like it's just in the normal rare slot. I think is really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So James is gonna go back and let him
Yeah.
redo it.
Like if you want to do the first vines, you're good, dude.
So he's gonna kick it, and now he's trying to figure out like how he can.
Yeah, he's gonna let Brandon figure out what's the possible course of winning. So like Brandon still has a block here, but now Brandon has essentially lost
Yeah.
because either one of those creatures hitting Brandon this turn is just death. James is gonna fall 4 here.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. And James wins this. I'm
So
happy
the
James
color
caught
cost,
that.
yeah, the color cost on the vines is
Yeah.
pretty crucial.
Well, and that also like goes back to the whole. He needs more green.
Oh goodness, that's like right in the way.
Oh man, my makeup looks woohoo today. Thanks.
Oh yeah, mine's been on point all day.
I know. I did Chad's makeup. Can you guys tell? It looks
Absolutely.
gorgeous.
Yeah, so we are playing Modern on a Friday, which
Yes.
is a slightly weird thing. We tend to draft the first 2 weeks that a set comes out. We draft every Friday now, but we strictly draft because no one has standard decks, right?
No one has really a standard deck now, just because
Yeah.
like today is the first day that stores can actually sell the Ixalan cards in cases. So a lot of people just don't have the stuff yet to build the decks.
Yeah, and no one knows what these decks even are.
No, like I feel like until we've seen a standard SCG or anything yet, then we're not gonna know like what exactly is such a good combination.
Well, I think we're at a really cool point with the set that's come out, because I was evaluating the set and it made me think of the old like cons format standard,
Yes.
right? Where we had like because they
Yes.
weren't using hybrid mana, we had 3-color decks, but you have to think if they're going to go 3 colors, then the card has to cost at least 3.
3, yeah.
Right? So we had a lot of these mid-rangey, almost modern style decks.
Yeah, because I remember playing Adzan in standard during like the cons, and it was literally like what James is playing now is pretty much what I had in standard.
Well, and
back
so-
then, and it's so good.
Yeah, and I think standard's shifting into that now that I'm looking at like these big stompy dinosaurs
Yes.
and a lot of these pirates, they cost 3, 4. I think standard is shifting back into mid-range.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad place to be.
It's not, and I'm actually really excited for it because, like, guys, come on. These
Yeah.
pirates are so cool.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with interactive Magic.
No.
Right? Like, I am a fan. I know Steve has talked about the fact that he enjoys standard because you really get rewarded for playing correctly.
Yes.
Right? Whereas modern, like, Tron just exists and Wizards is doing nothing about that.
Hi, I have Eldrazi Tron.
Yeah. So, like, this deck just exists and Wizards, like, if anyone has not experienced Tron, don't.
You should.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
such a good. All you have to do, so in the meta right now, if you're playing Tron, you just got a Chalice for 1, Chalice for 2, and then you're good. You're golden. You're set.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely. Double check
Yeah,
the
of course.
door, see who someone was knocking.
Next round is going to be on camera.
Oh,
Rondo
awesome.
on Tron, and then Brewer on Grixis Death Shadow. He printed it twice, so it's just
Oh, okay, so it's gonna be
Brewer and Mondo. Yeah, Tron.
Which side you on, Brewer?
Why would I be a feature I lost?
There's only 6 of us. So
Yeah.
Oh, there's only 6? This fucking place is all playing draft?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not streaming.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Huh?
I'm keeping time since the clock's down, so you guys can start whenever you guys want to start. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Can we agree with this?
All right, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
5, in between.